hacker, a nun, and a weather woman walk into a bar. There is no bar. I wish there was a bar. I wish there was a bar so I can get shit-faced drunk and forget I ever saw this movie. I mean, holy fucking boredom, Batman. What did I just... What? You know what? I'm sorry. I'm just a little cranky because I didn't get much sleep because I was tossing and turning out of anger for watching this movie, and I couldn't get it out of my head because it just flames. I was just, so angry. We have 20-year-old YouTubers making amazing movies, and yet we have IPs that have fallen into ruin. They're crushing Star Wars. They're killing Marvel. They're killing DC. They're ruining books that they turned into movies. They're continuing stories that should have ended forever ago. And then on top of all that, we have legends, amazing filmmakers who have just started making mediocrity. The world is topsy-turvy, my friends, and I just don't know what to do anymore. Let's break it down. Jaws, Goonies, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, E.T., Twilight Zone, Close Encounters. Disclosure. You know what? I can't even put that word, that movie anywhere near the pantheon that Steven Spielberg's created. It's insulting. You are a veteran in Aliens. You made great alien movies. You know Aliens. What the hell was this? You should have took anything from your other alien movies, the knowledge and what everything from those, and hell, referenced other great alien movies, and made something that made sense. In fact, honestly, what you could have done is you could have put the aliens in the movie more than 5% of the movie. That would have maybe helped. Maybe not. You know what? I'm wrong. Forget that. You probably did something better. That's what came out was probably better than trying to shove aliens in there when they wouldn't have worked. So let's break this movie down real quick. The movie revolves around two main people, one of which has a nun girlfriend, and we'll get to that in a minute. The young man works for a government agency tasked with hiding classified information on extraterrestrials. He basically finds out what they're doing, sees videos of aliens being tortured, and believes that the world should know that aliens exist. So what does he do? Well, he steals all these videos and drives or whatever, and decides to flee and basically get this to the world. How did he escape with all this pertinent information? We don't know. They don't really go into that because he just already has it, and they don't really talk about it. On the other end, we have Emily Blunt playing a Wonder Woman with aspirations of being a full-time head anchor, I guess. On the day of figuring out whether she's going to stay or move to a new place and try over again somewhere else, a cardinal flies into their apartment and stares at her. They have a staring contest, and all of a sudden she starts speaking Russian. I'm not joking, that is exactly what happens. While on air, she starts speaking alien tongues, which is probably the best way to describe the situation, and then passes out. Then she wakes up in the hospital, at which point it's already revealed that the agency that's hunting down the hacker already knows about her, and they've already found her, and they're out there waiting for her. And she can now read minds, so she knows that they're not really FBI or whoever they say they are, and then decides that her and her boyfriend need to flee. She gets a call from the Mystery Rebellion leader who tells her that he's been waiting for this moment for a while, and that she needs to go north or south or east or west to find the hacker guy. Then we go to the head agent, or the villain, I guess. It depends on really how you see this movie. If you think they should disclose information or they shouldn't. It's really, you could choose either way. They have these, what I can only call rune crystals that they probably got at a pagan shop after getting their aura read. That's just what I would assume. But he uses this crystal to somehow get inside the hacker's girlfriend's head and interrogate her about where they are. And then he basically controls her to where when they show up and the hacker and the girlfriend are attempting to escape. The agent guy is still in her head and basically tries to get her to kill him, which he gets pushed out. That's Anyways, they escape. And they honestly, the hacker guy escapes a couple of times, which I don't understand how one young dude not only got out of the facility with the stuff, but has managed to elude an entire agency this whole time. Now I know he's got. I mean, there. Okay, there are people that are kind of helping him, but I mean, come on. At some point, the agents finally do their job and they catch him at a hotel. But here's the twist: they catch him, but he gives the crystal, the magic rune thing, to the girlfriend to get away while he gets captured. Let me back up and say that again. He gave the thing that was important to his girlfriend to get away while he gets captured. He knows that the main agent guy can get in her head and make her do things. Why would you give the most important thing that you're trying to hold on to someone that can be manipulated? And even more interesting, why didn't the agent who can do the manipulating go into her head and have her bring it to him? The reason is aliens. Aliens. That's why. Eventually, the weather lady finds the hacker kid, and where she find him? She finds him at the facility being interrogated. And it's not like a special ops. She sneaks in and breaks him out. She literally walks through everybody, walks into the interrogation trailer, convinces people there that they're seeing things, and she walks out. Literally walks in, grabs him, walks out. There's a whole team of agents there, and she gets through every single one of them, except for one. One brave individual chases them down and shoots at them to no avail, obviously. So they escape again. Sweet Jesus. Sweet Jesus. They eventually get to their destination. They meet up with the rebel leader at a mock-up version of Emily Blunt's childhood home, which she's terrified of or something. You find out that when they were kids, that the aliens came in weird CGI animal form and abducted them and did some things with them and gave them powers. She can communicate with in the aliens' tongue and read people's minds and make them see things. And the kid takes mathematical equations and makes it into English. That's what happened. That's a thing that happens. Which honestly, those two things are kind of interesting, kind of cool to a point. The agents track them down again, and Emily Blunt uses one of the crystals to basically make the entire group and the home and everything in the warehouse invisible, and they escape because they're invisible. After escaping, they make their way to the newsroom where the weather lady convinces everyone that she has to be on air and they have to help her. And they do. Why? Don't know. Aliens. They did it because of the aliens. The agents find them once again, shut everything down, all the power. But because she has the magic rune stone from the pagan store and her aura is clean, she uses it to turn all the power back on. And then they air everything. They disclose everything. All the alien videos, the aliens being tortured, Nixon seeing the aliens, like all that stuff. And the world reacts exactly how you thought they wouldn't. They all watch on their phones and TVs and iPads and shop windows in awe. Not one person freaks out and says, I told you so. There's no mass chaos. I felt like there'd be at least one person that'd be like, who gives a shit? But no, they all had the exact same reaction. What? Who? Are we sheep? Are we sheep? After everything is put out in the universe and people see it and people know that this is real, the agent just silently sits in a chair and gives up. And the one agent who originally chased them down and tried to kill them yells at him for a second and then says, basically, screw it. And all the agents just walk out of the building because you really didn't have any other options. You couldn't still take her in. You couldn't shoot her in the head. You couldn't do something. You just give up. That's a weird government agency. As all the footage is being streamed across the world for everyone to see and no one to really have any kind of reaction to other than, look at that. The leader of the rebellion is pulling in what looks like a covered clothes rack. And once it's finally in the newsroom, the news lady and the hacker go up to it. As they unzip it, it's revealed to be an alien in a wheelchair who gets up, pats them on the shoulder, whispers to the hacker, who whispers to the girl, and then the movie ends. Now, if what I just described to you makes no sense to you, that's exactly how I felt watching the movie. There were things I left out, but they were of no importance. Plain and simple, this movie was way too long, way too boring. And I mean, when I say long, they drew out scenes that felt like an eternity. They literally could have cut off 2/3 of certain scenes and it would have made the movie go by so much quicker. And it might have kept me interested enough to try to figure out what the hell was going on. So when I say this movie belongs nowhere near the amazing filmography that Spielberg has put out, I am not exaggerating in the least bit. This movie should have not been disclosed to anyone. In fact, I feel like this movie should have just been chopped up and put as an episode of X-Files. I mean the later episodes of X-Files, like the last 2 seasons that I didn't watch, so I wouldn't have to watch it. But you know what? It wasn't all terrible. There were some highlights. You know what? Let me give you some of the pros of the movie. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. There were a few funny parts. There was some good acting. Emily Blunt did a great job, in my opinion. Honestly, all the actors did a pretty decent job. I wasn't the acting wasn't the problem. It was everything else. It's like it starts off having this serious tone and being something more along the lines of like a serious sci-fi movie, and then ends up with the Goonie-ish comedy. And it doesn't, I don't know. And there were scenes that I felt like were meant to be funny, but just didn't land on it. And that could just, that's just everyone's different. Everyone's got their own bone, man. I just didn't find it. It just didn't hit me the way it probably was supposed to hit me. Now, look, when I do any kind of movie review or I'm skeptical of anything, I try to keep it positive because I don't want to be one of those guys that gets on here and rails against movies and talks nothing but endless shit. Because I think that the fact that we have movies is a very important thing, and I think people's ideas should be cultivated and seen. But there are times it's just it's it hurts and it makes you angry. I'm not gonna let this movie sour anything that Steven Spielberg has done in the past because I love that man's movies. I mean, my childhood, most people's everyone's childhood really, were mostly his movies. I mean, they are the Criterion collection of classics. I mean, they're all so fantastic. So this movie is not going to ruin that for me. I'm not going to let it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get shit faced. I'm going to watch every single movie he's made that I love, and I'm going to fall asleep and forget this movie ever even happened. I'm going to bury it so deep in his catalog of movies in my brain that it never resurfaces ever again. The point of this rant is if you want to see in theaters, go see in theaters. It's really all up to you. But all I can tell you is from my perspective, you don't need to see in theaters. In fact, you probably don't need to see it at all. And if you do decide to watch it, say that you should watch it in the comfort of your own home. That way you can turn it off whenever you want to. Anyways, that's my rant. If you watch it, comment below. If you loved it, comment below. If you hated it, comment below. Let's start a dialogue. I'm curious if you dug this movie. Because again, this is just my opinion. Don't attack me. Don't threaten my life with violence because you love his movies and his, because I too love his movies. We are on the same page. This movie was just utter garbage. And if you love it, cool. Tell me why. We'll go from there. Have a good one.